Hey you guys, I am going to try this again, so I'm hoping that you can find me and that you're with me. I can't guarantee that the signal is good here, and I have a really good show for you too, so I'm not sure whether to try and get back in my car or to stay out here where the wind is blowing and everything else. So, let's see. This makes for good programming, don't you think? All right. I want to try and get back in my car because I have notes and I want to talk to you guys about this. So, all right, stick with me for a minute. I see thumbs floating by. So let's see if we can make this happen. Because I had this really great stand all set up in the car and everything. So let me try this again. All right, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Oh, someone's trying to park. This is fun. This is great programming. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully I have a signal. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, some people are so impatient. Don't they understand what's going on here? All right, listen. I'm just going to hold this with one hand and try again. Do I have a strong enough signal? Here's hoping, okay? But now I'm only one-handed. All right, let me try this again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunchbreak Live. Real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am a very frazzled Cari Cruz coming at you live today from the parking structure at the surgical center where my mom, Carol Worth, is currently having cataract surgery. Okay, so I see a couple of you guys have found me. Hi, Christy. Hi, Dorothy. If anyone else is here, oh, my hair's sticking up. We can't have that. That would be very distracting. If anybody else is here, I can't see you guys. Your names aren't popping up yet. So forgive me. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not seeing you. Okay. So I'm putting my glasses on because, whoa, because this is crazy for me to try and do this. Oh, hands free. Look at me. Look at me. It's a little crooked, but what the heck? All right. Okay. Nancy, hi. I see you here. And Raquel, I see you here. Okay. So can you guys see me and hear me? And you're here too. Yes, I see you. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Give me some thumbs up and we'll make sure we have a good connection right now. All right. And it's hot. Oh, it's getting hot in the car. All right. You know what? I'm going to roll the windows down. So hold on really quick. Hold on. Woo, that feels a little better. Okay. I love this live programming. All righty, guys. Well, welcome in. Hi, Nancy and Joshua and Trisha. All right, you guys. So listen, the title of today's program is Support or Sabotage. Okay. Now, this is tricky, all right, because I am not doing this show to insult anyone or put anyone down or question anyone's intentions, okay? I am putting this out there as someone who has been in this community, this weight loss community and the bariatric surgery community for, you know, I'm 10 years post-op and I've been doing this for about 8 years, let's say, okay? And even when I was early in my post-op life, I was very careful about what I said because I knew I didn't have all the answers any more than I have them now. I don't. But right now, what I have as a post-op of 10 years is I have the wisdom of experience. I have proof of what has worked for me, and I also have proof of what has worked for others and what hasn't worked for others, okay? So I've been very, very careful, very mindful that I wasn't rendering advice per se, but was instead sharing my opinion, and again, not coming from a position of having all the answers, because the reality is nobody has all the answers. We are all doing this journey, this recovery journey, one day at a time, okay? And we're all doing our best to be our best. So with that said, you're right, Becca, I'm not in the office. I am in the parking structure waiting for my mom to get out of surgery for her cataract. So hopefully our signal will last better than the first attempt. So listen, I made some notes while I was sitting in the waiting room, and I'll just launch into it. First of all, when we're talking about, you know, support or sabotage, right? There's a very fine line. There just is, okay? Let's talk about the definition of support. It means to bear all or part of the weight. Ooh, interesting, the weight. Hold up, give assistance to or enable to function or act, to show that you approve of something, to render assurance, assistance, agreement. So we're pretty familiar, I think, with that definition of support, right? Guess what the antonyms to support are? Which means, of course, the opposite. frustrate, constrain, inhibit, interfere, obstruct, deter, hinder, and sabotage. Tricky, okay? Sabotage, see? Very fine line. Now, sabotage, what does that really mean? Well, the words that were given when I looked it up: to destroy, obstruct, damage, impair, cripple, subvert, hamper, or to prevent the success of something. Prevent the success of something. Now, I know there's one word that I didn't say here that you guys were probably expecting. You were expecting me to say to deliberately do all of those things. Sabotage is not always deliberate, you guys. It's not. Sure, there is deliberate sabotage. There are people out there that don't want you to succeed. And guess what? Sometimes we don't want us to succeed, and we sabotage ourselves, okay? So there is deliberate sabotage, and sometimes there is also sabotage that is deliberate that we don't even know about, okay? So I'm not really talking about that per se. I'm talking about the stuff that comes from ignorance, okay, where people mean well. And I guess also it depends on what you're looking for when you're talking about support, okay? So what are you looking for? Well, it varies depending on what you're looking at support for, okay? Like, what are you looking for support? Are you looking for, like, encouragement, you know, for someone to say, yeah, go do it, you can do it, yay, you. You know, long-term, short-term support, what does that look like to you? Now, around here on my show, obviously the majority of people are looking for, whoa, look at that, I turned the steering wheel. Are looking for support with weight loss. True? I mean, that's what a lot of us are looking for. Or addiction, or both. All right. And we're looking for help, guidance, encouragement, inspiration, and motivation. Don't you think, in that arena? Isn't that what we're looking for? But more importantly than weight loss, I really believe that we're looking for support for our obesity. And that's a big difference. You know, depending really what you're really looking for is going to determine the kind of support you get or seek, okay? So that is the key. That's the key distinction, I guess you could say, is obesity. Do you want to lose weight, or do you want to treat your obesity? Because you're going to get wildly different answers. You can lose weight, and I'm going to explain this. You can lose weight in a lot of different ways. You could starve yourself. You could take drugs or laxatives. You can throw up, right? So there's a lot of super unhealthy ways to lose weight, and you're going to be able to find people to support you in that effort. Oh, I took laxatives and I lost weight. Oh, yeah, I had to fit into a dress for the weekend. I just threw up. See what I'm saying? You can find people to support, to encourage, to affirm, and agree with your decisions, whether they're healthy or not. Okay? Hey, ever heard people supporting somebody who's on a ledge ready to jump? How do they support them? You got some people saying, don't jump, don't do it, you have a lot to live for. Okay? But if that person wants to jump, you got the other people going, jump, jump, jump. Well, they're both supporting him, aren't they? How effective is that support? Probably not very. The best kind of support the person on the ledge could hope for is to have someone throw their arms around them, drag them in, and get them to therapy. Okay? So, right? But what we're calling support is, you know what? I was on a ledge one time and I wanted to jump, but I didn't. Okay. See, that's nice and everything, but how is that encouraging that person not to jump? We mean well. We're not deliberately trying to sabotage anybody, but do you see what I'm saying? Maybe not the best support in the world. All right. So you can always find people to support you in your decision to make somebody's getting into the car next to me. So just ignore that for just a minute. They'll ignore me. I'll ignore them. Don't worry about it. Okay. So if treating the disease of obesity, however, is your goal instead of losing weight, well, that's going to look different, because I like to think that those groups of people, wherever it is that you go to get that support, they're going to be focusing on the quality of what you're eating and doing. They're going to focus on quality vitamins and supplements, for example, for your health, because you're managing your health, because you're treating a disease, you know, not a condition of being overweight. All right. They're going to look at healthy exercise. They're going to talk about therapy, the importance of therapy. Well, what if you want to treat your obesity through bariatric surgery? Well, how many of us come to that decision believing that we're treating our disease? I think more so now. I think people are more now, but I didn't. I came to it with the understanding that I was going to lose weight. And then that was going to make me healthy and happy because I was going to lose weight. Not realizing that there was so much more to it, that it was really the treatment for a disease, not a fix for a condition. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. So let's see here. Support can look very, very different in groups that are set up to support and encourage people who have had bariatric surgery. Obviously, it's populated by who? It's populated by people who have had the surgery. That doesn't make them experts. That makes them experienced in that they have had the surgery. But that's all you can really, really guarantee about their experience, especially if they're not that far out. And that matters because there is no substitution for experience, and experience takes time, okay? It cannot be replaced by enthusiasm, and enthusiasm matters, and it's very important, but it really is not always the kind of support that we need. So in other words, just because someone shares your experience of having had a similar procedure doesn't mean they're experts in it. Hey, I'm not putting myself out there as an expert. I'm just telling you what has worked for me and what my experience is over the course of the last 10 years. And maybe it will work for you too. All right, let's see here. The type of support that you get really is determined by the type of support the person who's giving it wants. Okay? So in other words, we all have a motive for doing what we do. I do this because I'm paying it forward, right? Because I want to share the gift of recovery, because this gift was freely given to me and I want to freely give it to you. I am passionate about being healthy and recovering from obesity and treating compulsive overeating. So my reason for rendering this support is that I want people to experience the joy of peaceful, serene recovery and freedom from obesity that I have experienced. That's my reason. It feels good. Of course it does. I enjoy it. I like it. Okay? So I like to think that I'm pretty honest about why I do this. Some people maybe aren't as honest because they're not able to yet, or they don't really know, or they haven't given a lot of thought. They render support ignorantly, and they're not aware of it, okay? They mean well, but they don't really know any better. And sometimes people are looking for other people to support them by agreeing with them and saying, yes, yeah, what you're doing is fine. So they're looking for approval in rendering support. That can happen too, that what they're doing or feeling is okay. And if enough people jump on board and say, I understand why you want to jump off that building. Yeah, I know how that feels. Well, is that really the kind of support that the person on the ledge needs? I don't think so. I think the person needs to get the support that says, don't jump, here's why, I'm going to wrap my arms around you and pull you in, keep you safe. All right. When we're new to something, aren't we excited about it, especially if we find that it works, if it's changed our lives, whatever it is. It's like a religious conversion. We have fervor, we have zeal, we are excited about it, we're enthusiastic, we are eager to help everyone. We want to because we have found the answer, right? This is the solution. This is the fix. This is the answer. Oh my gosh. I must tell the entire world. I must go out and knock on doors, door to door, and tell everyone, I get it. I did it. With maturation, I do it a lot less now. I do it through this show. But, I used to offer it to absolutely everybody on the elevator, crossing the street, in the grocery store, sleeping. I mean, everybody, because it was so profound, right? Well, we've learned that recovery is not for people who need it. It's for people who want it. So with maturation comes moderation, I think, okay, and temperance. All right. When we are still learning things ourselves, what we believe as we're in that process of learning may not turn out to be true. But if we have fervently gone in there and said, yes, this is the answer, this is the truth, this is the way you have to do it, and then we find out later that that wasn't the right way to do it, well, we have just told that person to jump, right? And we can't go back and tell them now not to jump if they've already jumped, you see? So I'm saying with support comes great power and responsibility, that what it is that we are rendering is actually support and is not feeding something unhealthy in us or feeding something unhealthy in the other person. And that can be very tricky. But let me just tell you this. Time is the great equalizer. It just is. And as I say, there is no substitution for experience. None. Only the wisdom of time and living through it. When we first have bariatric surgery, well, my goodness, aren't we bulletproof? Aren't we invincible? Aren't we flush with excitement and the thrill of it all, that this is the answer, this is what we've been looking for our entire lives, this is the success that has eluded us forever. It is filled with possibilities, okay? And we have pictures to prove it, don't we? So follow me, because I am thinner than I was. I don't weigh as much as I did before. Follow me, and here's my after picture to prove it. Is that the only reason we're following someone? Because their after picture, is they're smaller than their before picture. Well, how many of those people hang around when their after picture looks like their before picture again? Where do those people go? Ever wondered? A lot of these groups are populated by people who are within the first 2 years of bariatric surgery. And again, I am not saying not to render support, but I am saying there is great responsibility if we are truly rendering support, okay, that others so desperately need. And maybe some of us are not qualified to do that. Who knows? Maybe some of us are qualified to be cheerleaders, to say, look, I don't have the answers, but I'm going to cheer you on. You can do it, girl. That's fine. You can do it, guy. Whatever. All right. Here's what I want you to think about for just a second. All right. I want you to think about this. When we first have bariatric surgery, we're like newlyweds on the honeymoon, right? We are all in love and everything is great. And we see past all of the problems. All of the problems with our mate are just, they're so insignificant because we're so much in love. Isn't this great? Love is great. And we're going to have someone with us forever, and we'll never, ever be alone again. And we will always be ooey gooey in love. And it's just wonderful. And it will always be this way until it's not. Okay. The honeymoon, as they call it, tends to last about 1.5 years or 2 years with, bariatric surgery. Then what? Oh, gee, I don't know. The reality of he farts when he sleeps. He snores when he sleeps. He leaves the seat up. He can't seem to make it into the toilet, and I'm constantly cleaning it. Why can't he hang his towels up? They're always getting moldy and they're wet on the floor. His socks stink. I can't believe he wants me to bleach them. Okay? That's what it becomes. It becomes reality of, oh my God, I signed up for this for the rest of my life. I'm going to be stuck with this. When did he get hair on his back? My God. Okay? That's what it can begin to look like. And then what are you doing? Then what are you going to do? Go into those rooms and start to talk about the support of marriage and say, careful, be careful what you do there, because you know what? He's going to grow back hair and he's going to pee on the floor and all your towels are going to be moldy and mildewed. Is that support? See what I'm saying? All right. Think about this for a minute. Let's say you want marriage counseling. All right. You've been married like 10 years and you say, I'm going to go to a marriage counselor. Are you going to go to a marriage counselor who's been married 6 months? Maybe you are. But I think you're going to go to a marriage counselor who has experience at being married. I like to think anyway, okay? Maybe a little longer than 6 months, or at least almost as much as you've been married, I would like to think, okay? So you go to them because you would like to think that they are an expert on it, okay? You're going because you're like, I need to figure out how to cope with all of the problems in my marriage, his back hair. Okay, I need help. I have got to figure this out, right? So I'm going to be a bit absurd for a second. Let's just say that you go to that marriage therapist who's been married for like 6 months, and you're like, okay, I've been married 7 years, all right? And I call it the 7-year itch or something, but I think I made a horrible mistake or something. I'm just not quite as in love as I was before, and I'm getting that feeling like I want to have an affair. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same as it used to be, right? Go to the marriage therapist. Need help for that. All right. Now, what happens if the marriage therapist who's only been married 6 months says, oh, I totally get that. Tell you what you do. All right. There are ways to cheat without getting caught. First of all, you could start looking at pictures of hot guys. All right. Do that. Just look at pictures of hot men. That ought to make you feel good. But if it doesn't, go ahead and flirt a little. Just go on out there and just flirt online. I mean, that's okay. That's not going to hurt anything. Make sure your husband doesn't find out, of course, but don't worry. I mean, as long as he doesn't know, as long as he doesn't catch on, you'll be fine. Okay. Now, if you still feel that need to cheat a little bit, you could do some sexy texting. All right. And if you find that you're starting to return to those old habits, like before you got married, where you were kind of a serial dater, well, just don't get caught. I know that sounds absurd, but isn't that effectively what a lot of people are talking about in these bariatric and weight loss support rooms where they're going, hey, look, I know this, you feel like you want to cheat, go ahead. They deserve to cheat sometimes. Just don't get caught. Or, you know what, I cheat, but it never shows up on the scale. Or, you know what I do? I find this great substitution here. Look at this picture. Doesn't it look amazing? And then, like, I eat this instead of that. So, you know what? I get it all. I'm like married, and I get a little something, something on the side. That's what's going on in the rooms, and people aren't even aware of it. Okay, that they aren't aware that that's what they're doing. Let's see here. If you've ever visited these rooms, by the way, pictures and videos of food. You've heard me talk about food porn. Okay, lots and lots of food porn on there. I kid you not. One that I saw. Sorry, not calling anybody out here. Faux cookie dough. F-A-U-X. Faux cookie dough. It might as well be called faux, F-O-E, cookie dough, because that is definitely the enemy. And I love it because, you can make it healthy by using, get this is so great. Obviously, it still has chocolate chips because it's chocolate chip cookie dough, please. But instead of like the sugar, use blue agave nectar or honey. I mean, that's totally fine, all right? And as long as it has oatmeal in it, it's totally healthy because oatmeal is healthy. I kid you not. That recipe is on the wall in a support group. It drives me nuts because I'm like, you guys, blue agave is still sugar. Honey is still sugar. Chocolate chips? Why the hell did you have bariatric surgery if you were just going to substitute chocolate chips for chocolate chips? Do you see what I'm saying? It's a processing issue. It's an attitude problem. It's like, no. I think someone missed the memo somewhere that said the goal is not to find a replacement for chocolate chip cookie dough. The goal is to figure out why it was that I felt the need to consume and overconsume chocolate chip cookie dough in the first place. Because I promise you, I can overdo healthy foods. Sugar-free cookies, anyone? May have a laxative effect? Gee, I don't know. How about if I eat the whole package of sugar-free Jelly Bellies? Uh-oh. Can you say explosive? Yeah, but it said may. It didn't say will. Okay? I can overdo anything, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. I'm not saying everyone will do this, but if that recipe makes a dozen cookies, I will make 2 batches because Lord knows I don't want to have to spend time doing it twice. And then I will tell myself that I'm only going to have 2 cookies, and I will end up eating 2 batches. Do you see? That's me. I'm on to me. How many other people know this about themselves, yet because it has the word healthy or because someone in a bariatric group put it on the wall, they decided it's going to be okay for them, and then it's not, and they feel bad about themselves. And they come in and they say, I am bad. I'm a bad, bad person. I'm a failure because I ate bad carbs and I'm returning to all of my bad behaviors. Well, what else was supposed to happen when they were standing on the ledge and someone said, jump? What else was supposed to happen? So yeah, I'm really passionate about this, all right? And I'm coming to you from a place of being able to say, I am in recovery from obesity and compulsive overeating. It's me. I get it. I understand compulsively overeating. Therefore, if anything looks good and tastes good, I will overdo it. Especially if it's got blue agave or honey or chocolate chips in it. You guys, you got to steer clear of that stuff. You got to steer clear of that stuff. You know what? This whole healthy alternative thing, how about just healthy? Forget the alternative. Let's just go healthy, all right? Let's see. Oh, yeah. And how about we concentrate a little bit on fats and carbs, in the process instead of just the sugar-free or low sugar? Because all of those things, in order to get flavor, you got to have fats, and they do have carbs. So really, I just don't think that is a healthy option, and I really don't think that is the kind of support that someone who's looking for healthy eating options is looking for. I kind of think it's the person who's posting it is looking for approval to say, yeah, that does look good. I'm with you. Okay? And again, I'm not beating anybody up. I'm not saying you're bad or wrong, but I am saying we need to look at our motivations and look at if we are unwittingly, unintentionally sabotaging ourselves and others. All right? So with this kind of support, who needs sabotage? That's what I think. So, all right. Who knows? I rattled on. Let's see. We all want to think we have the answers. We do. Because when you have the answers, you feel better. You're like, oh, good. That's not a question mark anymore. And whenever we start to feel better, we definitely want to tell people, drink this tonic. I feel better because I drank this tonic. Here, if you drink this tonic, you'll feel better too. I get that. But only time can give people validity to the point that they're making. Only time can prove that it really, really works. And I'm after long-term success. I am not after short term. I'm not after 5 days tested to see if it still works. Because yeah, it still works and then I'm going to go right back to doing what I was doing before until the next 5 days when I test it again. No, I'm looking for proven long-term success. I am not looking for a test or a Lenten 40-day I'm off sugar and then I'm right back on. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm a long-term relationship with myself, and it better be healthy. All right, that's why I had surgery. That's why I'm treating my obesity. That's why I do 12 steps. All right, if you're in a support group, please be careful what you call support, whether you're rendering it or whether you're receiving it, okay? Is this all about you? You got to ask yourself that, because of course we want to feel good about ourselves, and when people say that what we're saying sounds good, we feel better about ourselves. Are you trying to justify behaviors that maybe aren't really healthy? You know, that anyone else looking at them, a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, a bariatrician, somebody like that would look at that and say, I don't think that's your best choice. Would they say it makes sense? Are you trying to prove your worth? Hey, for those of us who came from a place where we didn't feel worthy, we may be looking to prove our worth. And if enough people like our post, then we feel liked, right? We feel more worthy. Do you want approval or do you want truth? Only you know that, okay? But eventually, that sabotage that you called support is going to show itself for what it really is. Especially when you return to the same old habits that you always did, leave that group and no longer comment about your faux chocolate chip cookie dough. All right? So that's about it. That's my message for today. And I know it's strong words, okay? But you guys do tune in to me for honesty, and you don't have to agree with me. It's okay. There are a lot of people doing a lot of really good work, and there are a lot of people who want to do really good work and believe that they're really being helpful, but when they sit down with themselves and spend any amount of time, they realize they're not happy and they just don't understand why. And maybe it's because they're focusing on weight loss, or they're focusing on food, or they're focusing on ways that they can cheat on their marriage instead of working on living in the healthiest marriage possible. All right, so I'm going to sign off now because I'm pretty sure my mama's almost done. I'm going to head up there, but thank you guys as ever for being here. You know, I should be back at you from my normal office environment tomorrow. I can't wait to read your comments because it looks like you guys are furiously writing away here. I don't want this to turn into a bash fest, okay? I really don't. That's not the goal. This is really for passionate informational purposes to say, be careful what you're doing. Be careful what you're calling support. Be careful what you're giving as support, and be careful what you're receiving as support. If you're looking for support to condone negative behaviors, to say jump, you'll find it. All right, guys? Look for a reason to climb back in the window and go back down to street level and walk your recovery journey. All right? I'm going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember to share this with your support groups. Take care. Bye.